Alice in Wonderland, Chapter 12, Part 2, Alice's Evidence. "All right, so far," said the king, and he went on muttering over the verses to himself. "We know it to be true. That's the jury, of course. I gave her one, they gave him two. Why, that must be what he did with the tarts. But it goes on, they all returned from him to you," said Alice. "Why, there they are," said the king triumphantly, pointing to the tarts on the table. "Nothing can be clearer than that. Then again, before she had this fit—" "You've never had fits, my dear, I think," he said to the queen. "Never," said the queen furiously. "Then the words don't fit you," said the king, looking around the court with a smile. There was dead silence. "If there's no meaning in it," said the king, "let the jury consider their verdict." "No, no," said the queen. "Sentence first, verdict afterward." "What nonsense," said Alice loudly. "The idea of having the sentence first." "Silence," roared the queen, turning purple with anger. "I won't," said Alice. "Off with her head," the queen shouted at the top of her voice. Nobody moved. "Who cares for you?" said Alice. She had grown to her full size by this time. "You're nothing but a pack of cards." At this, the whole pack rose up in the air and came down upon her. She gave a little scream and tried to beat them off. All of a sudden, Alice found herself lying on the bank with her head in her sister's lap, who was gently brushing away some dead leaves that had fluttered down from the trees upon her face. "Wake up, Alice dear," said her sister. "Why, what a long sleep you've had." "Oh, I've had such a curious dream," said Alice, and she told her sister all the strange adventures as well as she could remember. When she had finished, her sister kissed her and said, "It was a curious dream, dear, certainly. But now run in for your tea. It's getting late." So Alice got up and ran off, thinking while she ran, as well she might, what a wonderful dream it had been. But her sister sat still just as she left her, thinking of little Alice and all her wonderful adventures, till she too began dreaming. This was her dream. First, she dreamed of little Alice. The whole place around her became alive with the strange creatures of her little sister's dream. The long grass rustled at her feet as the white rabbit hurried by, the mouse splashing away. She could hear the rattle of the teacups as the March Hare and his friends shared their never-ending meal, and the shrill voice of the queen. Once more, the pig baby was sneezing on the Duchess's knee. So she sat on, with closed eyes, and half believed herself in Wonderland, though she knew she had but to open her eyes again and all would change to dull reality. The grass would be only rustling in the wind, and the pool rippling to the waving of the reeds. The rattling teacups would change to tinkling sheep bells, and the queen's shrill cries to the voice of the shepherd boy. The sneeze of the baby, the shriek of the griffin, and all the other queer noises would change, she knew, to the confused clamor of the busy farmyard, while the mowing of the cattle in the distance would take the place of the mock turtle's heavy sobs. I'll check that word, not quite sure that's it. Lastly, she pictured to herself how this same little sister of hers would, in the aftertime, be herself a grown woman, and how she would keep, through all of her older years, the simple and loving heart of her childhood. How she would gather about her other little children and make their eyes bright and eager with many a strange tale, perhaps even with the dream of Wonderland of long ago. That brings us to the end of our book, Alice in Wonderland. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more.